What's going on, everybody? Good evening. I'm going by the name of DJ Mr. King, Power 1075, 1063, and welcome to Music Business Mondays. This is our monthly virtual music conference series powered by the Columbus Music Commission. And each month, we're going to bring you the industry vets that can come meet with you guys, talk about the industry. We're talking label reps, DJs, artists, inspiring creatives, everybody that can help educate you on how to live and advance in the music industry. So before we get to it, I got to let you hear from my guy, Bruce Garfield, the Executive Director of the Columbus Music Commission.
Good evening, Columbus. My name is Bruce Garfield, and I'm the OG that heads up the Columbus Music Commission. I bet you didn't even know we had a music commission, but after tonight, hopefully you will. Our goal at the Music Commission is to see Columbus become a nationally recognized music city. And part of the plan to make that happen is for us to educate our music community about the business of music and how to move their careers along. Our Music Business Monday programs bring together top industry players to drop science on you, our musicians, producers, writers, or anybody involved with or interested in having a career in the business of music. You know, we know how important hip hop music is to the world, and especially to you, the listenership of Power 1075. So we figured a great way to kick off our 2021 season and our partnership with Power is by honoring the legacy of what I think is the gold standard of recording labels, Def Jam. You know, for me, it's hard to believe that it was almost 40 years ago. Whoops, did I say 40 years ago? When three young guys who had their first little office around the corner from my first little office, Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, and Leor Cohen, would go on to build what is the most important hip hop record label in history. You know, to tell you that story and give you some insights how to get ahead in music and tell them their own stories. Tonight, we've got four really cool and knowledgeable guests. Natina, Nimene, who's the Senior VP of Urban Promotion at Def Jam and the Senior Executive there. Marcus Grant, who runs the digital commerce and streaming strategies. Jeff Burroughs, who runs brand partnership. And the man all you artists want to meet, Tuo Clark, who runs A&R. Before we start, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors that make this possible. That's the American Electric Power Foundation, the Greater Columbus Arts Council, and Promo West. So thanks for having us. Enjoy your evening.
An unlimited connection to others. And a platform for you. Social media is where you can thrive. If you have a passion for media, either on camera or behind the scenes, Ohio Media School can change your life in just 8 short months. Learn from the pros and get the skills you need. Start creating engaging social media content about what you want. You can get paid to create. It starts by visiting beonair.com. Call Ohio Media School Columbus at 614-723-9675.
Now, I appreciate that, Bruce. Now, look, we're going to get tonight's show started. First, I want to introduce our Senior Vice President of Urban Promotions at Def Jam, Natina Nimani. She has been an influential figure in hip-hop culture for the past 15 years and has been a cornerstone of the Urban Promotion Department over at Def Jam for the past 8 years. She is a Billboard Woman in Music and 40 Under 40 honoree, and has been recognized by her industry peers as a Cultural Creators honoree and a hits noisemaker. Natina recently added artist relations to her portfolio, managing talent opportunities with networks such as BET, MTV, Revolt, and Fuse, and acting as a go-to liaison for core Def Jam artists such as Kanye West, Tiana Taylor, YG, Big Sean, Jeezy, 2 Chainz, the list goes on and on. Natina was also recently named to the advisory board of the National Museum of African American Music Recording Academy, New York chapter, and is a key member of UMG's Task Force for Meaningful Change. Welcome to tonight's event. How'd I do it on that intro, man? Did I get you up too much? Did I get you up too much, or did I leave something?
You're gonna read all of that, but thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, they told me that.
I impressed myself, actually.
We really wanted to change the title to something else that we could put on there, but very important person. So minus everything, the official jargon. What does the day-to-day of a senior VP of urban promotion at Def Jam look like? What does those tasks include? What is your main go-to every day?
I mean, the main thing that promotion is responsible for getting the radio airplay on all your favorite hip hop stations across the country. So, you know, Power in New York and you know, your amazing station there in Columbus and you know, like all your favorite hip hop stations across the country. So it's my job to call the station, speak to the program director. I think a lot of times people feel like, the fans feel like, and the listeners think that it's up to the DJ to play whatever they want to play. And that's not really how it goes.
Oh, thank you for clearing that up.
Yes, there's a person there that is their job to curate the sound and tone and texture of the station. And that's who I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I have regionals who handle, you know, who usually speak to our DJs and speak to the, you know, music directors and things like that. But I speak to the program directors and I just pitch our priorities. You know, I pitch our Fredo Bangs and I pitch our Justin Biebers and I pitch our Janaes and our 2 Chainz. And this record is amazing. You should play it. And this is why. For the most part, that's, you know, that's the large part of what my job is. And then I kind of handle, you know, the big morning shows like the Breakfast Club and all those amazing cultural stage jocks and talent. But yeah, that's the gist of what I do on the promotion side.
So like in your title, you have artist relations, the key word being relation, as in relationship. Yeah. How important is this, the relationships, not just because of the title that you have, but just in this industry in general, whether you're, you know, in a position that you're in or just an artist coming into the game? How important are relationships in order to advance in this industry?
I mean, relationships are key. I remember very, very early in my career when I worked for an amazing guy and a great executive, the president of Black music over at Atlantic when I was there before Def Jam. And he told me early on that relationships are your superpower. And they can take you places in this business that nothing else can get you to. And when people like you, and when you're a likable person, and when you're a good person, you know, it just goes a long way. So relationships are key on any level. You know, the most senior person, all you have is your reputation,
right?
And so you have to always keep that intact for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So for our fans and our listeners that are tuning in, if you have any questions, comments throughout the night, please feel free to drop them right in the comments below. We'll answer them, get them answered live as we go throughout these conversations. Natina, I want to ask you, so you have a long list of artists that you obviously work with, not ranking them in any particular order by any means. I would never put that pressure on you. But what makes an artist not necessarily easy to work with, but like that drive to want to get up every morning and be like, you know, I'm gonna go hard for this art no matter what. Like whether they're quote signed to me or not, that's my job. But it's something behind that artist that makes me want to go just that much harder for them. What is it? And if you got one artist to tell me who that is, then let me know.
No, I mean, I like artists that work hard. I like artists that are reasonable people, that are, you know, you can have a true conversation with them, get through to them, and they get it. And even if the news and even if what you are giving them is not the best news, like they get it, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, what I really enjoy is working with hardworking people. I love to see them win. So either when they're a new artist that hasn't broken yet, you really want to work hard for them because you know, it just matters to you. Hard work is key for me.
Absolutely. So, and when we're talking about artists and working hard and those artists that's coming up, I want to bring up Tuo Clark. He's a senior vice president, A&R, on the A&R side. Man, my guy Tuo, he's worked with some of the likes of Big Sean, Justin Bieber, John Legend, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, many, many more. Tuo got over 50 million records worldwide, 9-time Grammy nominee, producer, executive. Currently oversees special projects such as on the urban and the rhythmic side over at Def Jam, and was also named to the Billboard 40 Under 40. So, you know, we got some power up here on these screens, man. How you doing tonight, man? You good?
I'm good, man. How you feeling? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
All right,
well,
cool,
man.
cool,
Appreciate
cool,
that. Appreciate
cool,
that,
cool,
man.
cool.
So, before I go into it,
Yeah.
and I think that this is one of those terms that's always thrown out there by new artists or artists that's just getting in the game. Can you explain to our viewers tonight, our listeners, our audience, what exactly does A&R stand for, and what exactly is your role? Because, you know, artists sometimes like, oh, y'all holler at the A&R. Like,
yeah.
what is it?
So I can't loosely say I'm gonna tell you exactly my role. Have, you know, since I've been in the seat, I've been in Def Jam for 4 years, man. And coming from a producer seat to executive seat is day and night. And basically, your job supposedly as an A&R is to find talent, handle budgets, be in the studio with the artist, make great music, put the music out, and everything is just amazing, right? That's not the job, though. The job is a little bit more technical than that, man. That's just the front face of it. A&R is a little bit of everything, man. You're a counselor, you're a brother, you're a problem solver, you're an asshole, you're a person, you know what I'm saying, to help them get their vision across. You know, it's a little bit of everything, because you get so personal with the artist, man, especially if you have a relationship with them. You're very personal with them, man, and the details with their life and job and the vision that they're trying to get across.
Right. So when it's time for that, like, obviously that's that vision and your job when it comes to that artist, you working with that artist or for that artist, right? But what about discovering that talent? What are some of those, when you're out on the road or surfing the internet or whatever the case may be, what is it that you're looking for when trying to find that next Big Sean, that next Rihanna, the next Justin Bieber, whoever? What are you looking for?
Man, you know, the most important thing for me, of course, you know, you got to have some talent. And when people come to you, you know, our job is to put more fire to the flame. Okay. But more importantly, like for me, man, I want somebody that got the passion of trying to get the job done. You know, a lot of people be talented, and a lot of people may have some numbers. A lot of people may have this going on, and then they may get a check and get some money, and they just feel like, yo, I'm just going through the walks and the stages of just, you know, me being an artist. I want somebody that's going to be like, yo, this is the last call for alcohol. It's either the streets or me making my dream come true. And somebody with that kind of passion gonna give you everything that they got. They're gonna give you everything you get that got. So that's what I look for. So
you got an artist like that want to give you everything you got, including music, right? Including the music, the driving, all that. So if I'm an artist and I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I feel like, oh man, I'm you know, in a quote small market. I'm not into New York. I'm not into Atlanta. I'm not into LA. So nobody's looking at Columbus. How can I, as an artist, get my music to you? That's actually from a question in the crowd. So I do want to shout out our audience for definitely showing that love. How can I get my music?
Well, let's start with the first thing. The first thing, nothing is small anymore, man. We got the internet,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Everything is at our thumbs and fingertips, and the phones and everything like that. So it's like you can literally pick up your phone or pick up any kind of camera to halfway get your idea across of who you are and what this song may be, right? So that's first. So I feel like even if you're putting forth efforts and nobody is seeing you taking these shots, at least you're creating something for yourself that you can say, hey, I created all these things right here, this content, and I got these records. Just check me out, right?
Right.
Cool. I'm going to stay open to that all day. I'd rather stay open to that than somebody saying, yo, man, I'm hot. What's your email? Send me the records. So, you know, I can definitely give anybody on here my email. That's great. More importantly, like I say, social media is at our fingertips. So anything from Instagram, anything from Facebook, anything from Twitter, like even if you have 600 followers or what have you, at least I can say, let me go see what this artist can do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the first thing I'm going to do as an A&R now. You know, we get right on our computers right away. So we just look and see if we can find anything on the artist to be like, okay, there's some different things that I see, you know, for them outside of the records that they send me.
So do you feel like that it is more along the sides of an artist should already be ready, quote, before they come to you? Or is it more, if you're ready, we'll find you?
No, I mean, everybody's preference is different. For me, it's our job to help you get ready. But you have to be seasoned, as I call it, to a certain extent. You have to be seasoned to a certain extent. for us to actually take you over the finish line for us to do our job. So for me, I need somebody that's seasoned. I can help you, throw more seasoning on there, add more fire to the flame, get you a proper production, proper songwriters, the whole 9 yards. That's my job. Then I hand it over to, you got the marketing team, you got the promotion team, you got everybody. So it's all a unit, but it starts with us first. So in the company, it starts with A&R. So if we're not doing our job, man, everything is lackluster. So long as an artist is seasoned a certain way, I can help that out and create the vision for us to actually be like, okay, we got new artists, they're hot, let's try to break them.
Okay. And on that same note, I have a question from the audience as well for Natina. Have you seen radio promotions change kind of now as streaming and DSPs become increasingly more popular?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like there was a time when the radio was the only outlet. And now there's so many ways that people can hear music. From it could be the DSPs, it could just be off of you just dropping it yourself onto YouTube or IG. So yeah, I mean, the reality of it is the way that we kind of say it is, you're at a buffet and that's with all the different platforms, et cetera, et cetera. And like, radio is more of a curated kind of menu. Okay. Where there's a person who has curated it for you. These are the top records. These are the artists that are the hottest that we're focusing on. But it's definitely not the same. I mean, but there are still people, of course, who want to listen to the radio, who still like local morning shows, who still want to get the news and still want to know what's happening in their city, still want the jokes and the skits, and they want you to curate it for them. They don't want to have to find it. So is it different? Absolutely. Is radio still a thing? For sure.
For sure. Now we do have another Tuo. I got another question for you, but while we're on the streaming and DSPs, I actually want to bring in someone else to join the conversation when it comes to that. I want to bring in Jeff Burroughs. I want to bring him in. Actually, I'm sorry. We can bring in Jeff too. What's up, Jeff? We can bring in Jeff. I'm gonna bring in Jeff as well. Jeff is he's a senior VP of brands partnership. Since his start in the entertainment industry, he's developed successful marketing strategies for multi-platinum worldwide artists. He's an established industry leader, and he focuses on creating the innovative, the marketing side of it, making sure that your brand is out there, and that's who you see every day. So I wanted to bring you on because Tuo mentioned the content piece of it, the being seasoned. So when you think of brands, how important is a brand to an artist prior to him even, stepping into a major label situation?
I think the conversation around brands is important because Tuo is actually interested in artists that are going to become brands. He's not interested in just the song. He's actually interested in something that's going to have a narrative beyond just the song. So yeah, we want to figure out what your movie is, like what clothes you wear, what car you drive. Do you dance? Do you stand against the wall? Are you a ladies' man? Or are you just that dude that wants to hang out with all the fellas? Like that, all that matters when we decide what video we want to shoot, what clothes to put you in, who to put you next to, what features he's going to get. All that narrative is one thing. And where our partnerships aspects comes into place is we're going to try to find some paper to go along to amplify that story, right? We're gonna exchange some of the cultural equity that a Def Jam has and an artist has in exchange for some money or some media value that a brand can bring to the table.
So when you talk about in terms of your partnerships, can you explain that you're looking at in terms of more along the lines of this could be movies, this could be clothing lines, this could be cars, this could be what?
Yeah, I think that what I'm trying to do, we're trying to do in partnerships is we're trying to figure out who has a louder voice than us, right? Like it's a record company. Record companies are strong marketers, but we have better ideas and we have long bread. So we want to figure out how we could go get that long bread.
Right.
Think about Jay-Z and a Sprint relationship, or Nas and a Hennessy relationship, or John Legend and a Belvedere relationship, or we could go on and on, or Big Sean and McDonald's. There's thousands of ways that artists are now going to get positioned into places that they normally wouldn't be seen, but they get to be seen. So that partnership really makes a big difference in terms of making sure that we can extend and extend the narrative and amplify the story so that you care beyond, I just like the song.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So we want to take a question from the crowd again. And this could be to anybody. So the question is, I am an aspiring songwriter, but I don't have the need to be a star of the show. I love to be on a recording artist writing team. What is your best advice on how to get involved in the creative process of the music industry without being the talent itself? So I don't need to be all dancing in the videos, rapping, all that. I just want to be behind the scene, getting the work done. How can I jump into the industry that way? That's from Madison.
Madison, I would say from a writer's standpoint, it's very key to get with the right producers that complement your records. If you can find you a key producer to help you complement your records, cool. Even if it's an up and coming producer where you say, yo, he's all right, he's not too good, but at least people can get a vision of what my records and my songs sound like. I think that's super important. So I think that's first thing first, man, to actually get with somebody, you know what I'm saying, that one compliments what you do, but even if they don't, you can actually get your vision across and be like, yo, this is what my songs sound like with better production. This could be 10 times better.
All right. I want to now bring in our next guest to join us. All right, we got Marcus there. All right, how you doing, Marcus?
Can you hear me?
Marcus, he's our senior VP. He's a digital commerce and strategy. Basically handles like on the digital side of things. He oversees like the playlist, the strategy, the consumption growth, and all of those type of things. Now we mentioned earlier, and as an educator, I should have stopped Natina when she mentioned it, or we was talking about DSPs. You know, we are all in the industry, so we understand what DSPs. But again, we are teaching an audience who may not know what a DSP is. Can we backtrack a little bit and make sure that we understand? And can you explain what a DSP is first, Marcus?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could. You're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. DSP means digital service provider. Mm-hmm. So basically, that is your Spotify's, that is your YouTube's, that is your Amazon's, that's your Apple Music, that's your Pandora's, that's your Titles, that's your Audio Max, and my mixtapes. Mm-hmm. That's what a DSP means, digital service provider.
Okay. And now when you guys, we know that we are like Tuo mentioned earlier, these playlists are just, if not as equally important as radio right now. How accurate, or I don't want to say accurate is maybe not word. I guess if you had to use a barometer in terms of what you're looking for when you base out numbers, somebody may come to me like, yo, I got 99,000 streams, or I got 2 million streams, or like, what is the barometer that you're looking for to see if an up and coming artist is really trending toward where you want to see him?
To be honest with you, it's not even a stream number that we're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. Because the most important thing on streaming is saves, right? Because what ends up happening is this. You might come in, I'm just going to throw a number out. You come in and this artist I got 1 million streams. Mm-hmm. My question to him is like, well, how many of those they actually saved? Mm. Because you can get 1 million streams just being on a playlist, and somebody just listening to the playlist, and you just so happens to be on that playlist. Yeah. And you getting counted for that stream, but it's not good enough for them to save, mm-hmm. or good enough for them to share. Right? Imagine this. It's like being at a festival, right? Okay. Because there's 30,000 people at a festival, and then you on one of the stages, and 500 people come see you, doesn't mean that if you by yourself, you're gonna sell 500 tickets. Right. You're just part of a circus, and that's what playlists sometimes. So the important thing is, are they saving your music? Are they sharing it? That's art, and are they creating playlists from the actual personal playlist?
So if I am that artist from Columbus and how do I go from, I can jump on all the sites or I can jump on it and make sure that my music, well, I guess before I ask you that, how can I, if I have a song, get it to all these digital streaming platforms? Like, is there one roundabout way to go and do that, or is that, you know, I'm paying for Apple and Tidal and all of that in one? How does the artist go about doing that?
Well, nobody's paying for no playlist. Just listen.
No. I mean, in terms of me, not paying for the playlist. Paying to get, like, how do I get my songs just naturally, just the Apple, the titles, just own that piece? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So basically, what you would do is you get an aggregator, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what independent artists do. They get an aggregator, which is a middleman that actually do the service, provide the service for them. They get them on playlists, right? And what ends up happening is, because each partner is different, right? Spotify is more playlist driven.
Mm-hmm.
Their ecosystem supports thousands of playlists, right? So you want to start super small, right? Because they have something called Spotify for Artists. They give you an opportunity to pitch your own music inside the pitch tool, right? They give you an opportunity to actually get on these playlists. But the secret to Spotify is to get these playlists, because Spotify is data driven and it's all driven by algorithm. Is to get as many people to take your music and create a playlist. Because a Spotify algorithm doesn't know the difference between 1 million people listening or 5 people listening. They just know that this particular song is being created
in on multiple
playlists. And that's how you excite the algorithm. So what ends up happening is the biggest playlist on Spotify is called Discover Weekly. Discover Weekly usually runs on Monday. And what it does is it looks back and see what type of velocity is being created from this record. So if you're a new artist, you want to make sure all your friends, all your relatives, all your cousins, relatives, girlfriends, or whatever, make sure they create records and put them in playlists. But the second most important thing is that you got to make sure you have infinity artists next to it. Infinity artists, for a lot of people, it's what resembles you. What artists resemble who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do. So, for instance, if you sound like Lil Baby, make sure your friends put your record in there with Lil Baby or Gunna or with all that stuff, because the algorithm, that's all it's breeding, is like, oh shit, why is this record connected to these artists? So let me send this record out, Discover Weekly, and see if this is a hit or a miss in front of their consumer.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's important information for a lot of our artists to have, musicians to have, because you no longer have to depend on pressing up thousands and thousands and thousands of CDs and trying to move around the country and stuff. You can literally do this from your home, but not knowing the process can be, draining at times. So I asked this question to all of you guys. What is some advice that if I'm a student that's graduated from college, I got experience in all different areas of entertainment or different areas, but I want to switch to music. How do I jump into this industry? In terms of a Def Jam side of things, how do I start? We hear the stories of, he started off as an intern and he was, sweeping up the stairs for this guy, and then he owned the company. Is that really how it is, or is that,
No, that's true. I like no BS. This is I started as, so this sounds cliche, but I started as an intern for the longest, right? I think a lot of us did. But just give you an example, I couldn't even get an internship. And I was wondering, like, why? Like, I'm willing to work free. You won't even hire me for free, but because you got to know people. I remember back then, like when I started, like I got so frustrated that I had a fax machine, and I literally faxed human resources 50 times in a row until I forced somebody to call me. And then my career actually started from that. Like, because
Marcus, they don't know what a fax machine is. Can you explain?
Because now we're talking about fax machines and telegraphs and all that, and actually mailing something in the mail with a stamp, man. We gotta.
But the moral of the story is, if you want it, by all means necessary.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect way to get into this industry. Everybody have their own side of the mountain to climb, but you gotta
my favorite part of the music business and people getting in the music business is those who know how to get in can stay in, because the music business is filled with hustlers. Natina's a hustler, Marcus is a hustler, Tuo's a hustler, I'm a hustler. We can't be stopped. We gonna get it. And that's how you have to be prepared to fight for artists. You got to go get it. So there's no right or wrong way. Sometimes some people, I befriended people to stair step my ass all the way in. I threw parties just so one person would come, so I could meet them and I could introduce them to a DJ or a girl or something. I'm trying to figure out any way to get somebody to pay attention to my little. I don't even know nothing. I'm just trying to do anything to get on. So send letters. Call 16 times, stand out in front of the building, make a big sign, be friends with artists. I would say that the number one recommendation I give to people is to get close to the artists that are closest to you. Like, because the artists are actually the key to the game. If you have strong relationships with artists, you're going to go where they go. And if the artist is successful, that means that you had an idea of somebody who could be successful. So guys that have been around the business a long time know that instinct is important to follow. So follow the artistry.
I have a really quick story just from somebody that's like they're someone coming out of college's age. My old assistant, Bearaline, who's amazing in the A&R at Interscope now, she was fresh out of college in Syracuse and talked someone into getting her a tour of Def Jam. And she came, poked her head into my office. Can I be your intern? I said, well, you already graduated from college, so you can't be my intern. She called every single day, emailed every single day. Finally, I said, come up here and just shadow me for a day. She came up there, did everything, came up the next day, and the next day. And you remember, and came up the next day, and that came up the next day. And eventually, like, we just took a liking to her, and the rest is history. And we were able to find a position for her, but she was relentless. Like, I just kind of dismissed her, professionally, and she was, I'll come up there and I'll just do whatever. Can I just follow you? Can I attend one meeting with you? Can I sit in your office? Can I fold some shirts? Like, she was relentless. And you can kind of tell by the trajectory of her career how it's been in such a short period of time. Now she's an A&R for the baby and does all these amazing, great things. But I knew,
relentless. That's who she was.
Early on that this girl was going to be somebody, because she would not take no for an answer. Period. And I think sometimes that's how it has to be.
Yo,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying one of the best advice I've ever gotten. Somebody once told me, if you're highly motivated, you can accomplish anything.
Facts. Now, Jeff, I want to touch on something that you mentioned. You said you told people to get close to the artists, right? What would you say is? I want to kind of kind of clarify that a little bit, because I think some people hear that and hear, oh, such and such is coming to the city. Let me go and, be amongst the 400 dudes that's on stage and try to take a picture with this dude, because now I gotta post it on the IG and say, look, like, that's not the same thing as developing
that's not it.
And not even, maybe not necessarily with the artist, but maybe developing. Sometimes you can be somewhere and then that little weird dude that's sitting over in the corner might be the most important person in the room for you to get into contact with the artist. Can you explain the difference between the two?
Yeah, so absolutely, just trying to steal shine is a corny move.
Yeah.
The right move would be, there's somebody at your college that makes beats. There's someone in your church that sings. There's a producer that works around the corner. The more you can get next to the people that have talent, the closer you're going to get to the glory. Like, you have something to have a conversation about. So you have a reason to talk to Tuo. Tuo, I want a job. Oh yeah? What makes you hot? I found this. Listen to these 3 songs. Listen to this demo. Come bust this YouTube video that I got. Show me something. Why you think you just going to be talking that's going to impress me? Like, really? Come on, man. Like, it's not. I know your mother told you you're special. Show me how special you really are. Show me something, because all of us have to show our value every day at work. Every day It's not fair. Like black executives get treated very differently. We have to show our value every single day.
Right.
We never get to rest. We have to be relentless on our game all the time. So we know we have to add value. So how are you adding value to this conversation, young man, young woman? If you can add some value, show me that you've been doing some homework. Well, that's something to consider. It's not just somebody waving a hand saying, I'm great, I'm great.
Yeah. So,
YouTube is filled with artists. You might have spent a month finding a YouTube artist just so you can show like, this is the shit that I want to do if I ever got a chance to get on, Like, okay, that's different. That's something that I could at least evaluate you on besides that yapping.
Mm-hmm. Now we know that, like with Def Jam, we know that historically, like, we know what they have done, what their stamp is, their footprint in terms of hip hop history. We know that hip hop is a hustler's sport. When we talk about just being in this music industry in general, shifting from hip hop, say if I have a question from the audience and they say like, I'm more of a neo soul gospel kind of singer. What do you guys still, even though your focus is hip hop, do you still have that ear and say, hey, like, you know what, I may not be able to personally help you on this situation, but I really believe in you and we can put this situation here together with something else. Like, how does that work?
Well,
that's a 2-0 question.
Yeah, so everything isn't for everybody, man. So if I've been in the music business, man, and when you get some things under your belt, you got, as I call, associates through the business. So if it don't work for us, and maybe it worked for somebody, I may be like, hey man, I think I may have something for you over there, man. I got this artist over here that's more like gospel, neo type feel, and send it their way and see what's going on. Everything is not meant for you,
Yeah.
But we also have Justin Bieber on our label and Rihanna and Alessia Carr. Like, we have big pop records, like pretty much just because, like, our history is one thing. The legacy of the label moves in every single category, every single genre. Right now, we have the biggest artist in the world, with Justin Bieber streaming like madness. So we really could do it all. But like Tuo said, if it's special, it's special. It can't get ignored. Great music can't really get ignored.
So when you do have great music like that, or you have these artists who are already kind of on and already just like they quote sell themselves, the Rihannas, the Justin Biebers of the world, what goes into that? Like, does that make your job, and this can, any of you guys can answer, does that make your job easier, or does that make it that more harder to keep them to the level that they are at and continue to rise from that level? Let me get this first.
For some reason, everybody feel like because you got A-list artists that, oh man, you guys' job is easy, man. All they got to do is go in the studio, make this record, here you go. And that's not true, because guess what? If they not hot no more, we got to get them back hot, man. We got to get them back hot. Got to get them back going. Nobody is hot forever. It's like an up and down roller coaster. So, I think that's the false pretense of everybody thinking like, oh man, well, you guys got a Kanye or you got a Bieber or you got whatever like that. You got whatever, and they hot. And you got to be like, well, what did the last project do compared to this project? And what was the difference? So, you know what I'm saying? They still have to deliver good music to us, man, in order for us to do our job.
That pressure that comes with who they are. They're Kanye West, or they are Big Sean, or they are Justin Bieber. So you have to always work at the highest level. Not like you don't do it for everyone else, but there is an expectation to continue to deliver. So there is a lot of pressure that comes along with that.
Yeah, expectation. The magnitude of the expectation when you're dealing with a level like Natina and Tuo was saying is enormous, bro. It's enormous because like everybody expect it to be here, so you better deliver it here, right? But in back of your mind, you like, damn it, I hope the consumer is still here too.
So what standard? So we know delivering hits and stuff like that. Would that be the measurement of you guys' success in terms of your job categories, or is each one of your positions different in terms of what is considered you excelling at your job?
I think you was talking to Natina earlier about radio, right? And I have an analogy. Like my Tuo builds the engine. My job is to get the plane off the ground.
Okay.
And in midair, Natina switched seats with me to land the plane. Okay.
Okay.
Jeff monetizes the whole thing, because at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is the engine taking off and landing and monetizing. Because somebody once told me, you either land the plane or the plane crash. That's it. It's no in betweens.
That's true. That's real.
I think I have the most genius job. I think that was genius, Marcus. God, that was really good. I mean, I'm gonna steal that one. I was so hot. I'm stealing that.
He really do like the analogy.
I'm stealing that. I'm not even giving you credit.
On the label call on
Word up. I'm sampling that. I'm saying it first. Nobody trying to get it. But I think what wasn't said is that Marcus gets graded every week based on the amount of streams, and if we can see if he's whack right away, and Natina gets graded by the amount of spins every week, and so we can see how she gets graded, and Tuo gets graded on whether he got hits or not.
Right.
Marketing is actually gets to hide, and if it don't work, it's somebody else's fault. But they get graded every week by charts, and the charts tell the story of whether they were successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the pressure when Natina is giving her staff pressure, and she's not as friendly as she seems right now when she's talking to her staff, and they got to get a number 1 or a top 10, and they need 20 more spins out of Ohio or 15 spins out of Texas, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, she's going to get them spins.
Absolutely. You get a grade card every single week. When the chart closes, where you ended up. Mm-hmm. You went up, you went down, you stayed the same. Absolutely. That's hard.
Sure. So I would stay with you. We have a question from the audience here. It says that my son, made off of Too Loyal Entertainment, has music with T-Rail. He is on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music from Columbus, Ohio. How do you go about getting your music on the radio with the clean version, so to speak?
Go, sorry about that. Go ahead, Natina.
Oh, as it relates to getting it on the radio, I mean, the best bet is to always start with the DJs. Mm-hmm. Locally, like absolutely start with the DJ, set up some meetings with the music director at the station, and eventually get to the program director. But if it's already up and already kind of moving a bit and you're just trying to get it on the radio, you need to familiarize yourself with those. I mean, it starts with the DJs for sure. They started in a nightclub, they started in the mix show, and they should be your voice and your talking head in the station that says to the music director, to the program director, this song is hot. It has this many streams already. I played it in the club, and it was a movie. That's where they should.
Tuo, I'm coming with you on that same question. How much music have you naturally found straight from the streets or in the club versus the radio?
Man, a lot. I mean, because basically, the radio is not doing what it did, years ago. Because, mix show was a heavy thing, heavy on the radio, like in different cities, but it wasn't formatted. So basically, if I'm a new artist and I'm rocking and I'm rolling, I'll be like, yo, I'm from Chicago, so I gave it to DJ B-Dub, you know what I'm saying? And he on the rush hour, man. He said he go play it. I'm waiting by the radio because he said he's gonna play it, and he ain't got to go ask his program director because it's not a certain agenda. Everything is agenda driven now, so it's a whole different ball game. Right. So the discovery is all social now, or word of mouth, or you may just be at a strip club, at a club somewhere, and a certain record come on. If you're in a certain city or whatever, maybe like, what's that? So the discovery is totally different now, because everything is social to me, what I'm saying, whether that's word of mouth or, from a viral standpoint.
Right. I think that's important for artists to understand, because I mean, obviously as the mix show DJ here and the one that's moving and shaking, I think like artists naturally come to me like, yo, you didn't play my song on the radio. It's like, I didn't, but I played it in the club and I either got a response or I didn't get a response. So me playing your song on the radio may not do you of service, especially if I don't have it ready for the radio. So when you ask, like, what does it look like for an artist to be ready for radio? what does that mean? Like, can you guys explain what an art, like me playing your song on the radio and having no report of that does you no good? What does an artist need if they want their song to actually count for playing on the radio?
Natina?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My boss was texting. No, I'm so
Natina,
sorry.
you gotta tell what is it somebody needs to get on the radio.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
No. So I was basically saying, like, for I'm an artist and I'm, no, man, you gotta play my song on the radio, play my song on the radio. But it's like your song isn't ready to be played on radio. Not just because it's clean, but because it needs to go through the process of making sure that it's, like, can you tell the artist like that process and why it's important to make sure that you're ready for the radio?
I mean, I think that we're good. I mean, we do a good job of that in the building. We know when it's time to impact. That's what the terminology is. When it's time to impact the record, which means that is a statement to radio that says, this is officially a priority for us. We are going to take this song to radio, impact it, because we are ready for airplay and we're ready to break this particular artist. But I mean, it has to get through. After it gets to two, it has to, the marketing has to get its hands on it, and then we need to figure out what a true plan is to take it to the marketplace. Marcus gets it first to see how if it's a kind of raising its head at the DSPs before it gets to us. So I think that we do a great job of putting together a plan that makes sense and them getting it. Do they get it all the time? No, but there is a process, and it is what it is. We do a very good job of not getting bullied into impacting a record too soon. We try to make sure that when it comes, it's it.
Right. Now, what about, and I want, before this, I'm a quick question to tag team on that. Like, have you been in a situation in which the label felt like an artist should be like, okay, we're going to go with this single, but the streets is saying another thing? So maybe this is a Tuo question, like the streets is like, nah, this is the one, and then you end up doubling back on it, or not even doubling back on it, but like maybe the record that you're trying to impact isn't getting that traction that street record is. And what's the difference, and how do you determine that?
Man, that's a collective as a company, man, making a switch. It's not just like a A&R thing or what happened. We may throw some money behind a record and say, yo, we feel strong about this record. Research may come back like this ain't it. And if we're not too ahead of the curve, man, to actually make that switch, we got to say, hey, is this the one? Because if the fans saying this is the one, then this is the one. Sometimes you could be wrong,
Sure.
And we've run into that, but Marcus, like your record is like streaming, but radio is saying something different, and then the street saying something different. Like it's happened. That like everybody has a song that they feel passionate about.
Yeah, I think mostly because a lot of times, like you were saying about the streets. Now we got to be careful because it could be a street saying it's hot, or it's the actual streets saying it's hot, right? Yeah. Because what ends up happening is artists, you go to one club and they banging it, and he's talking about the streets. Because when Natina goes, she's not going to the streets.
No,
she's going wide.
You got to take it over to the after hours.
I'm going to that high school girl on her way to school listening to the radio in the morning. I'm going hot.
Right. Then all of a sudden she's like getting research and like, yo, bro, like what street you was talking about? Because that's not coming back. So you got to be careful because artists, they always see things their way, right? They only see it one way.
For sure. Now, a question from the crowd. Now, COVID has drastically shifted the culture and the trajectory of music, the whole music industry. Moving forward, how can artists create a substantial foundation to be successful in such a competitive industry? I think that's a good question, Imani. That's from Imani McCormick.
That's a good
one. Is that a two-part question? Or is it?
I think so. I think it's a multiple question, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think that I started in the business from the perspective of management, and management is you're married to the artist, label or no label. So your job is to build your brand, to make sure that you have performance skills, make sure that your writing is up to par, make sure that you have a great team surrounding you, making sure that, you could do all the things that this game is really about, being a great entertainer. If you're always working at being the greatest entertainer, then you have the ability to get money from publishing revenue, writing, live performance revenue from touring, your recorded music. But you're going to try to find money, your endorsements, your partnership deals. If you're building your brand, whether that be, I'm going to build regionally, I'm going to build locally just in my town. And then I'm going to build regionally, and then I'm going to get the state. Then I'm going to get, you just have to make fans everywhere you go. You might not be in the mood that day, but the 5 minutes that you're in front of that person is the only 5 minutes that they may have to see you. So you have to consistently be selling yourself and consistently be aware that you have to protect your brand at all points, and you have to be promoting and marketing the brand all the time. So whether it's COVID and you had to figure out how to do live shows virtually and stream, or you had to make sure you was hot on social media, you were building an audience every day, so whatever you posted, more and more people are going to see it, or you made your records better. You actually took time to take that auto-tune off and actually learn how to hit them goddamn notes and stop fronting and hiding behind technology and get real about it. And this is a real conversation. Like, you think about the artists, the majority of artists, the most successful artists' career is 5 years long, the most successful. So the percentage of people that actually make lifelong careers out of music is very, very rare, super rare. The majority of the time, that's not what's going to happen. So if you're not, and my belief is that they messed up on one of those things. They got the wrong team. They weren't focused. They weren't diligent. But when I work with Alicia Keys rehearsed piano every day. And this is after Fallen. This is after If I Ain't Got You. She rehearsed her piano for hours every day. Beyonce rehearses her tours for months before she goes on the road. These are people who are diligent about their game. This is not easy. This shit is the most difficult shit ever. It is the most fun. It is the most entertaining. Without question, it's amazing. But you have to listen and pay attention to the lessons of history, because it's very hard to do. So you have to perfect your art.
Anybody else want to add on that? I think that was a great explanation for that, Joe. I really do.
I'm not as dumb as I look. It's true.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to jump on the COVID question, because yes, it's drastically shifted the culture and trajectory of the music industry. Because I think the unfortunate part of it is that people are putting out more albums because they have no revenue stream. So they have to constantly put out music, right, to renegotiate because they make their money. But unfortunately, streaming only creates celebrities. Touring creates stars. And I think we're starting to see a whole lot of celebrities and not enough stars, because once a star actually go out there and tour. And the difference between a celebrity and a star is if your kid is not trying to dress like you, right, and implement who you are, or the jacket or the shoe, whatever, you're not a star, right? And stars are born on the road, bro. They're not born through playlists. They're not born that's not stars. Those are celebrities. And I think, unfortunately, in COVID, go ahead.
No, I was about to say that thing that people always say, that people have to want to be like you, look like you, or want to be. Yeah, that's a great artist. They the fan wants to look like you, date you, or be your friend.
Dress like you, just everything.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. We're gonna take probably one or two more questions, and I want to get this question to Tuo, just because I know that you used to be on the producer side of things, and I'm sure you still dibble and dabble in it. But
a Grammy nominated producer, hello.
Don't throw the gas. So how do I how do I get my beats heard by bigger artists if I'm a producer?
How do you get your beats heard?
Yeah,
by
that's from Kyle. He's a producer from Columbus, right here.
Okay. Well, of course, there's no straight way to be like, hey, man, this artist heard my, production or what have you. I always tell people, man, it starts with your backyard first. It starts in your backyard first. A lot of people be in the basement making beats or what have you. My story has been a local hit. I had a local hit that record companies was coming into the inner city checking out, and I started in my backyard. So basically, you can't get people to listen to, your beats or what have you, because guess what? A beat is a beat. So it's not a record. You got to make that beat a record. So in order to make that beat a record, you have to have the right melody, hook, song, whatever it is on the beat. So I always tell people, man, start in your backyard, man. If you locally have people around you that you're doing beats for, and everybody being like you the hottest in the city or one of the hottest in the city, guess what? As an A&R, our job, as just creatives, period, man, you never know where you're going to get the next show. Such and such supposed to be hot. Where you from? You from Columbus? For real? Yeah, I haven't heard from him. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard of him, should I say. So it's just like, you just never know how that song may travel, or whatever you did in your backyard may travel, and say like if that never happens and you're just making beats, then guess what? You got to go where the shit is, man. You got to go to Atlanta. You got to go to LA. You got to be like, hey, man, I'm just here to, rub elbows, shake hands. Hey, I need to get in front of anybody and play these beats, man. And if you hustle enough in both of those cities, you'll get in some rooms where you get a chance. But when you press spacebar, you just got to be ready.
You got to be ready. So I say that sort of follow up on that. So you saying that, starting off in your backyard and, I'm saying, let it whatever build. Follow up on that question is like, so how are you guys like leveraging the power of TikTok right now for your artists? And do you think that a platform like TikTok is here to stay for a long term?
Go ahead. I'll let you go.
TikTok is just we leverage a lot of different things, right? It's just another tool in the toolbox, right? Because I think people get is misinformed about TikTok, right? Because they think majority of records break on TikTok. For every record that break on TikTok, 5,000 of them didn't work. Right? So, and like people like they only see the one, but they don't see the 5, 6, 7,000 records that didn't work. So when we trying to contextualize a record, of course we're going to use that, but we also use different avenues also to break records. And to answer your question, is TikTok here to stay? No, nothing is here to stay. Everything is, we're going to be talking about something else in 3 years. Like, so these things is technology, right? Like it's just going to keep turning over.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now before I wrap up, I want to say, definitely, I think if we can't take anything out of this conversation, I think the common denominators here is that hip hop or this music industry in general is a hustling sport. If you don't have that hustling spirit, you're not gonna make it in this. So I want to also before I leave you guys with some parting words, it's stressed too to all of the artists that are watching this. We're going to collectively get out of the concept of calling ourselves local artists. We are artists from Columbus. We got to make our own city be our city. You know what I'm saying? We can be an Atlanta, New York, or whatever that case may be. But when you call yourself a local artist, that's what you pretty much putting yourself at, is that you're an artist right here in 270 or on 71 or on the west side, east side, whatever. So we artists from Columbus, music and creators from the city of Columbus. So before we get out of here, if you guys just want to just leave everybody with some parting words of advice, contact info, or however you want to do things, that'll be perfect.
My advice, man, would be definitely get out your city. Don't make yourself be local. Get out here and move around whichever way. So if you don't have the funds or what have you, whichever way you could try to come up with the funds, come up with some money, set a goal for yourself to say, hey, man, I got to at least go visit Atlanta or go visit LA, you know what I'm saying, and check it out, man. Because guess what, man? I was a product of my environment, you know what I'm saying, south side of Chicago. I wasn't going back and forth from LA, and that's how I made it, you know. It was just one day, it was like, yo, I got a chance to go to LA. Wow. When I touched the ground, there was no sleeping, there was none of that, man. I just tried to get in anybody's face that I can get in front of, man, so they can listen to my beats. So it's just like, give yourself an opportunity to just get out here and just set up. Even if you don't have the money right now, you got to set goals for yourself to actually get out of your way and get into a place where you can actually have a chance.
I would say just to run your own race. I think a lot of times when you are seeing, you know, this person pop off and that person pop off and you feel like you are better, your music's better, why not me? Why not me? I think that that can kind of stunt the growth and stunt you moving forward. So just run your own race, work hard, be persistent, be consistent. If you see something like, you know, there's been lots of times where young executives have, you know, DM'd me, reached out to me. I've scheduled a Zoom 15 minutes to kind of jump on, answer whatever question. Just be consistent and do the work, and don't be a hater. And your time will come as long as you just continue to just work really hard. And take constructive criticism, because just because your mom and your sister and your baby mom or your baby daddy said that you sound great and your music is great, it may not be great. Take constructive criticism and just continue to just evolve.
Because Natina criticizes me every day.
Every day.
She don't give a damn. No, I would say dream your biggest dream, man. You know, just take the lid off that. Like, this is everybody right here on this call is living their dream. Nobody told them they were supposed to have this. This is not what their parents planned. This is some shit that we just loved it. And if you think that you ever get to arrive, you don't. We get kicked in the face every day. We just learn how to get up, dust that shit off, use our relationships, use our skill. But it's the same game all the time for us as it is for you. Like, maybe we found that seam and we made it through. But, you know, dream your biggest dream. Believe that you could do it. Like, you got to really, really believe. And then you got to make that dream 10x. You can't hope to just be a local artist, like my man was saying. You got to be like, I want to be on the stage in Madison Square Garden. The people who understand that will gravitate towards you. You will find them, because it seems impossible, but it's not. It's not impossible. I can tell you it's not.
And Marcus?
Yeah. I just want to sum up what everybody said. For me, intentions are everything, man. Like, you got to, if you really want a career in this business, it's asking yourself, why do you want it? Right? And are your intentions pure? Because the consumer is so sophisticated now, they know when you're trying to hustle them. And I remember somebody telling me a long time ago, what is staying power is when the artist can look out into the audience and see themselves, and when the audience can look back at the artist and see themselves. So just remember, intention is everything, man. You gotta know why you want it, and you gotta be honest with yourself, right? You can't just do it because you think it's a quick buck, right? Okay, you make a couple of dollars, and you know, we all know that after taxes, that's over with. But if you want a real career, man, and it takes patience, it takes hard work, you're gonna get constantly thrown rocks. People gonna constantly throw rocks at you, but you got to be able to walk that path alone, and you got to see your goal at the end. And that's the most important thing, is being steadfast and being focused, and don't let nobody push you off, man. If you really want it, it's just like I say, if you're highly motivated, you can accomplish anything.
Man, hey, listen, y'all dropped some gems, man. I appreciate all of y'all. You know, I owe y'all. Phone call away, email away. I owe y'all. I appreciate it, man. A reminder to our audience, listen, you can like and share this video. You can rewatch it as many times as you want. And this is just the beginning too, man. Understand that we're doing another Music Business Monday next month. We got some more heavy hitters. They won't let me let the cat out the bag just yet, but just know, if you like this one, you're gonna love the next one, and we're just gonna keep building, trying to drop knowledge on our artists that's from Columbus, not our local artists, our artists from Columbus. Natina, Tuo, Jeff, Marcus, thank you. Continue to make history over there at Def Jam, man. Appreciate y'all support, man. Thank y'all.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Thank you.